The sculptor reduces his perceptions to a form, let me say a human one, and this form or image he builds up by lines, in such a way that his image represents to him the true or real man, and moreover in such a way that this image fills him with the power of the ideal world. And he is both the conception and the birth. His image becomes himself, and unless he becomes that image, the eternal form is not found. This image, or the finished statue, is to him his reconciliation or at-oneing of an outer objective world and his own consciousness. In it, the dualism is at-one, and he calls his art higher than the nature which it represents. This image or finished statue makes him feel that he is a master creator, and it lifts him beyond himself. In his own work he sees the immortal power that worked in him, and by him, and for him. And if he has reverence, he does not call the work his own in any special sense. I do not think that Michelangelo for a moment thought of the Aurora on the tomb of Lorenzo de' Medici as his in a special sense. I do not think that the artist who caused the demonic expression on the Venus of Milo dreamt of it as his. The sculptor's work is the seal of his election, and that is his pay. He lies in the arms of spirit. He has tasted the waters of Pythagoras as well at Crotona, and is no longer at war with himself and his surroundings. He is one of the immortals, and that is enough. This is done in solitude, in stillness. In solitude, he and the objective were married, and the child of that marriage is himself. Here again, I quote what I said in the first chapter about solitude, that it strips us naked of all the incidental and trivial and burns these up. In solitude, none of the five senses work. They are merely doors by which the soul passes in and out, into itself and out to nature. How is the poet born, and how does he lie in the arms of spirit? As for the poet, he must come to us, another Numa, radiant and inspired from the kisses of Egeria. Egeria was a nymph, and nymphs do not live in marketplaces. They are only found on solitary wood paths and secluded places in nature's secret haunts, in stillness. There the poet retires, when he seeks the word that shall overcome and slay the hydra of confusion and discord. The word, namely, which for him is the thought form that can supplant the passion which thrilled him. The word in which he and the eternal become one. Whether the storm rushes into the woods like Boreas, or breathes like the gentle zephyrs, he perceives and lays hold of the rhythmic swing which vibrates solutions and conceptions to his genius. And in that moment he is free and master over these very vibrations. The poet is like the musician. They both formulate sentient life, and thereby attain their freedom. But the poet is not satisfied by merely rousing sentiment. He wants to portray it too. Hence, he endeavors to translate his passion into thought. and to awaken the image-making power that he may fasten his images in that power. He does this by language. His language is best or only learned in nature's solitudes, in the stillness of spirit. In fact, the poet is the only one who speaks an original language. All others are his imitators. The poet is the one who translates Mother Nature's sentiments into set terms for the rest of us, and thereby he becomes an interpreter for us and gives us that insight, that understanding we longed for, but were not able to give ourselves. He can do so because Egeria, the nymph, kisses him, and Hybla, another nymph, bathes him in ethereal dews. Of nature's original stillness, the poet was the first prophet, the first revealer, the one who set man free by giving him the word. You are all familiar with the story of the New Testament, I suppose, and have all probably heard the life of Jesus told in it. You will agree with me that it is a most marvelous and beautiful tale. Indeed, that story will, as Renan prophetically saw it, be told throughout all ages and never grow stale or lose its charm. You have perhaps also discovered that unwritten poem of the Christ, which vibrates between the lines and trembles in the accords of the life of Jesus, as it is played upon New Testament strings. It is the mystic life, the life of Immaculate Conception. It is a form of the inner life told in the terms of a living man, and thereby giving us that understanding I spoke of, which we long for in order to get a tangible symbol like the idea which the philosopher conceived, or the accord that composes itself in the heart of the musician, or the word that placed itself upon the poet's tongue. It is the divine life, the inner life, as it was conceived in the soul of Mary. It is that life which is born in solitude, through Mary, not by Mary. It is the life that eternally was with the Father, and which comes into the world, but the world sees it not. This mystic story interwoven with the gospel story is the eternal gospel, of which older mystics, such as, for instance, Joachim of Flores, speak much. It is the life of the indwelling Christ, in the twice born. It is the life that makes Jesus a master mystic. It is the life of which Jesus testified that it would be lived when men no longer worshipped in Jerusalem. It is that life which Jesus refers to when he says, "I am the truth, the way, and the life," and when he declared that no one comes to the Father except by him. Need I say that life is the life of reconciliation, and that it is learned in solitude? It is a life in the arms of spirit. Jesus, the poets, the musicians, the sculptors, and the other artists take us into the white light of life's flame. But the religionist, the professional, the priest, plunges into the abyss of the red and terrible fire that burns in the core of every flame. In intense passion and fanatic self-destructiveness, he seeks destruction as a solution of life's dualism. Sacrifice to him is reconciliation. Sacrifice is his cry. Immolation is the means. He teaches not of redemption here. It is too patent that it does not come here, but yonder in another world. He does not know where located and does not care. In frenzy he has relished, and in fierceness he has reveled in the blood of his sacrifice, and thought he bought his peace. But no, that understanding we long for, that verbal key we seek to nature's mystery, is not found in the cry of the sacrificial victim. The sacrificial method is not the method of our cycle. Our thought form system cannot use it. If the cries of his victims could be steered into one stream, that stream would be powerful enough to unhinge the universe, I think, but could never give freedom and the peace of Spirit's arms. Nay, my friends, Empedocles did not find the solution he sought by plunging into the Etna volcano. It is only at a distance that the volcano is beautiful. It is only on the stage that violence becomes dramatic. It is only in fancy that lust can be made luminous, and it is only when the lightning behind the thundercloud illumines its edges that it becomes sublime. The actuality is terrible and carries no redemption from burdens, offers no reconciliation of opposites, and blood cries for revenge. Reconciliation is not attained by sacrifice or by blood. It comes only in stillness. Over all this religiousness lies a solitude which is dismay, isolation, and the death that is death. Spirit's arm is not underneath.